hope this is working. Hello, hello, hello. I hope I'm not trying to get this centered just right. Okay, I think that worked. Hello, folks. Okay, this is weird. Just remove the destination from and then re-add. Okay, looks like my LinkedIn is having some trouble. Remove. Okay, and then re-add. Save changes. Hopefully that works. Okay, I hope that works. I hope LinkedIn is showing up now. I've been having some issues with the connection, but I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to Look to the Stars, your monthly astrology. I'm Dorrissa Griffin, your host for this evening. I'm so excited to be sharing all these wonderful things with you. I am just getting myself a little bit more set up. I have a bunch of slides, and some of them have taken some time to upload themselves. So we'll be getting started in just a few seconds. But if you're joining me live, let me know you're here. I'm streaming live across Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, as well as Twitter. And I would love if you could just type it in the comments, say hello, and let me know what your zodiac sign is. And I'm gonna do a little tally to see, how many elements show up today, how many fire signs, air signs, earth, and water we get today. So please feel free to come in and let me know your zodiac sign and where you are joining me from in the world. So I am going to get a little bit more of my presentation up on the screen. Let's see, mirror camera. And I hope the sun isn't getting too out of control here. Let me make sure you all can hear me because I did a whole video not too long ago and no one could hear the sound. And that was very embarrassing and annoying. So I don't want that to happen again. So let me make sure my sound is on and hopefully my other slides are ready as well. Let me just check one more time. Okay, Canva, what's going on, girl? All right. So it looks like I'm still just having a little bit of a technical issue with my slides, but fear not, I will get this resolved in no time. Hopefully my computer can keep up with me. All right, let's try this one more time. Because I have quite a bit to share with you all today, so I don't want to miss anything because there's a lot to my mind right now. So I just want to make sure I stay on track and give you all the goods I came to give. And I have a lot of exciting things to tell and talk to you about. So I'm excited to share what I have going on today. And if you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know. If you're having trouble with the stream itself, type in the chat and let me know so I can shoot that with you or what we can do to get it fixed as quickly as possible. Okay, I finally got my second set of StreamYard and see if I can get them on here. All right. We are rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking. It looks like I'm having some issues with this bright light. The universe wants to bathe me in light today, so bring it on. I may have to get up for just a bit and go and close my curtain or just wait for the sun to continue to do its thing because it will move in just a second. But I do want you to be able to see me and not just my radiance. Yes. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now I got my second part of my presentation up. Very happy about that. Again, if you're joining me from wherever you are on the nether regions of the internet, I'm streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Please be sure to let me know where you're joining me from across the globe, and let me know your zodiac sign. And I'm doing like a backhand kind of tally of how many elements from which elements show up today the most. So drop it in the chat. You should be able to get to me in the chat and just let me know in the chat. Okay. And again, my name is Dorrissa Griffin. I am the founder of Cosmusic, and I'm excited to share more about that with you in just a bit. So just giving the platforms a little bit of time to let people know that the broadcast has started. And let me know if you can hear me, if you have any trouble hearing me. Like I said, I'm getting a little bit of light interference from the sun. It just makes me look more radiant, but I don't want that to mess up my video cameras. So I need to see if I can maybe turn a little bit, and that'll help some. No, that's making it worse. Okay. The sun just wants me to be radiant today. So let me get up and turn that off real fast. I'll be right back. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Yes. Much, much better. Okay. So again, thank you for joining me. Drop in the chat where you're joining me from and what your zodiac sign is. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now that I've gotten all my slides, once again, my name is Dorrissa Griffin. I am the founder of Cosmusic. Cosmusic is an exciting business that I'm building from the ground up as a tech startup. And I am an attorney turned techpreneur. And I'm excited about Cosmusic. It's an app that will create a personal theme song based on your astrology. I'm thrilled about it. I'm thrilled to share more about it with you. It's currently under construction, under development, but I hope to have it out to the world soon. I've hit a lot of hiccups in trying to grow my business. If any of you are out there, have started a business or even just a project that you're passionate about, you know how challenging it can be sometimes to get all your ducks in a row, the starts and stops, all the things. So as an entrepreneur, those are some of the things that I have had challenges with. But my goal with building Cosmusic is to help you build your star confidence. And star confidence is a phrase that I coined that means knowing and owning who you are and then living that out in meaningful and fulfilling ways guided by astrology. And it is something that I have ascribed to, something that I really feel passionate about, and that I want to help other people build because it's something that inspired me to build my business. Learning more about myself through astrology, learning and seeing a reflection of my life and how some of the things that I do really well in, and even some of the things that I don't do so well in, were all presented in my astrology chart, which was just so amazing. And so I just love astrology. I love what it's done for my life and how it's given me so much clarity and confidence. And so that's what I want to impart to people who are joining me, who download the app, who join me on events like this, on lives and stuff. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you get some star confidence from being a part of this live that we're doing here today. So I told you a little bit about Cosmusic already, um, but this is the slide itself. I think I'm lagging. Let me see if I can close some tabs real fast. Maybe that'll help me not lag. Okay, there is a little, but it seems like I'm still lagging. But I did everything I could to, make sure that the stream was good. I'm plugged into wireline for my internet. I'm not using Wi-Fi. I'm plugged right into the Ethernet port. So I don't know. Anyway, I was talking about Cosmusic. This is a graphic for my app. Again, it is coming soon. I know I've been saying that, but it is really coming soon. I had to switch to a different platform to help me build the MVP. I had some challenges on the other one that just wasn't allowing me to do what I needed to do. So I basically had to scrap it and start all over again. So that's what I'm in the process of. But I also have some music that is a reflection of who I am, and what I stand for that I have coming out that is a result of my experiences with building Cosmusic and with learning more about astrology. And I'm excited about that. That's also going to be coming out soon. I'll be sharing more details about my single, my EP that's coming out along with the app. But with Cosmusic, the app, you will get a personal theme song based on your astrology. In addition, I also intend to have monthly playlists that go along with your monthly forecast to help, capture and connect with the vibe of what's happening for you astrologically throughout the month. So those are some fun things that will be happening. I plan to do fun events like this, also events that help connect you with like-minded people and just generally have fun and hopefully inform you more about astrology and help you dive deeper into your self discovery journey. And so these are just some of the announcements that I have. Thank you again for joining me live today for Look to the Stars, your monthly astrology. This is an event that I intend to do monthly from here on out. I've been playing with different names and different things to see what would work for me. And this one seems to be something that I really like. So you give me feedback and let me know if the title works for you. I also will have monthly um, a monthly reading just focused on that season's signs that is more in depth. The one that I'm doing today every month will give you a little taste, a little flavor of what's happening astrologically, but it's more so designed to give you like a forecast for the entire month of June of what's going to be happening astrologically. So you have a sense of what's going on this month. And then with the Get Ready for Cancer season, it's a deep dive. I'm going sign by sign to help you get a better sense of what's going to be going on astrologically for you throughout that season. So we follow the sun, and so things will be coming up as the sun makes his journey into the sign of Cancer, and it's presently in Gemini right now, as many of you probably know. And then I'm so excited because for the very first time, I will be going to the Essence Music Festival in New Orleans. I'm so excited about that. It is like a 3 or 4 day event. There are amazing acts there, everybody from Lauren Hill to Missy Elliott to Megan Thee Stallion are the headliners. Of course, there's always amazing and immersive panels and information. So many amazing people throughout the diaspora that will be there celebrating music culture and community. So I'm very excited. This is my first time actually attending the Essence Music Festival. It's been on my to-do list for a very long time, something that I wanted to do for a very long time, but now it's finally coming to fruition. So I will be sharing and streaming live from the Essence Music Festival every single day that I'm there. It's been very hard to figure out what their daily schedule is. I know who's going to be performing for the concerts at night, but during the day, in terms of like the panels and the flow and the agenda, I don't have a good sense of what that is because they haven't really released a lot of the information yet. So it's hard for me to pin down, what will be a time exactly that I'll be streaming. But I'm sure I'll be dripping different content, sharing things with you all live throughout the whole time that I'm there. So just keep an eye for that. And if you've never been to Essex Music Festival before, but it's on your bucket list or it's on your list of things to do or you want to do it, live vicariously through me. Join me for that experience, and I'll be sharing more about how I'm getting prepared for that and some of the things that I am excited to see and do while I'm there. And all these things will be streamed on this channel, Cosmusic app. I have accounts across all the social media platforms from YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, I got it. And all of them are under Cosmusic app. So be sure to join me or follow me on whatever your preferred platform is. Okay, going to the next slide. Let's jump into the June astrology. And the sun is really trying to bless me today. So let me go and take care of this. I'll be right back in just a second. All right, I have to get it pitch black in here almost, just so I can avoid getting blinded by the sun. Let's try this color. Yes, I think that'll work fine. Okay, I hope that wasn't too much of a distraction. And I'm just trying to get this light just right here. Okay, but yes, let's go ahead and dive into the astrology for the month of June. I'm excited to share about all the things that are happening. So let's get into it. So this is a brief overview of it, a blow, blah, blow. I meant to have this kind of chopped up a little bit better. So I apologize if the writing is too small. I think I did do some slides where it's a little bit easier to see it. Let me see what I did. Did I go backwards? Okay. I think what happened is I meant to skip slides when I downloaded the slides, but I couldn't see everything and I was in a hurry. So, anyway, the astrology for June. First, I want to say if there are any Geminis joining me today, happy birthday. It's Gemini season. So, I know all the Geminis are celebrating and enjoying themselves. So, happy birthday to all the gems out there. Thank you for joining me as well. Or if you're watching this on the replay, happy birthday. And let's go and dive into what's happening astrologically for the month of June. And I'm going to take it from the rest of the early part of June to mid June. And then I'm going to switch to mid June to the end of June because that's when Cancer season starts. So this week, in a couple of days, I believe that's Saturday, it might be Friday. I should have wrote down the exact dates, but this weekend we will be having a full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is an amazing sign. And this full moon in Sag is just a really beautiful full moon. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is a traditional ruler in astrology of the sign of Sagittarius. Jupiter is also the ruler in traditional astrology of Pisces, and it shares that co-rulership, if you follow modern astrology, with Neptune. So Jupiter is currently in Taurus, and Jupiter is doing quite well in Taurus. And so, whenever you're looking to a full moon or a new moon, and you're trying to figure out if this is going to be a good moon for you to manifest things with, to set things in order, so that you can be able to actualize on a dream or a goal, or just take advantage of the moment or the energy at the time, it's always good to look and see where the ruler of that moon is. And in this case, as I mentioned, it's Jupiter, which is in Taurus. Taurus actually is in the sign, excuse me, Jupiter is actually in the sign of Taurus for a full year. This doesn't happen quite often. Usually, Jupiter goes back and forth through a sign every quarter or so, every few months. But it's settled down in Taurus, which is so apropos because Taurus is one of those signs that's known for its steady pace, it's known for its stabilization, it's known for its kind of laissez-faire way of just wanting to enjoy life and take it easy, take it slow. What's the rush? So Jupiter being in Taurus is great. Jupiter is known as a benefic planet in the lineup of astrological planets. You have your malefic planets and your benefic planets. And the benefic planets are Jupiter and Venus, sometimes Mercury, depending on kind of where it falls. And we call them planets, the sun and the moon, but they're really considered the luminaries, and they don't have any, one way or the other where they fit into that. We kind of use them as the source of light, the source of life. So, with Jupiter being a benefic planet, some of the things that it signifies or that it's known for is expansion, is spirituality, is wisdom, and with it ruling this specific full moon, those types of themes, those types of subjects or things about your life will be great places to kind of focus on in your life. If you want to take action, maybe you want to start a new study practice, or you want to see kind of, how maybe, a lot of people are graduating right now as well, and having their degrees. My little nephew, he's actually finishing up kindergarten this coming next week on, a few days after this full moon. So this is a time where a lot of people are seeing some of the things that they set forth 6 months or so ago finally coming to fruition. So this is also a good time to start putting into motion things that you want to see come, to a good place wherever your journey is, with the things that I said. Like maybe you want to start a new book or a book club, or maybe you want to set out on an adventure, or go start thinking about your travel plans. Like I mentioned, my travel plans for Essence Festival the end of this month. This is a lifelong dream that I've had, to be able to attend Essence Fest. So being able to see, things like this come to fruition around a full moon in Sagittarius is so apropos. So that's one of the things that I'm excited to talk about. There's so many things, and I'm trying not to ramble on about any one thing because I have a lot to cover. But long story short, the full moon this week is one that hopefully brings abundance into your life, that hopefully brings more of all the good things into your life. It will be a great time to focus on, having an abundance of fruit and vegetables and things, at your disposal around you, being that Jupiter is in Taurus. Maybe even you want to, fill um, your counters or your tabletops or whatever with nice potpourri or nice florals or nice, decor in your home. Those are all things that I think would be a great way to use the energy of this full moon. And then the next amazing thing to happen is on June the 11th, Mercury goes into Gemini. And Mercury is known for its rulership of Gemini. And Gemini is one of two signs that Mercury rules. It also rules Virgo as well. But Mercury at Gemini is in its own home, it's in its own domicile, as they say, which means it has the better ability to bring to fruition some of the things that signify or that Gemini is known for. Gemini is an air sign, so automatically things that pertain to your communication or to your self expression will be things that this specific transit highlights. So Mercury is one of those planets that everybody pays attention to throughout the year because there's so much talk about what Mercury is doing, especially when it's in retrograde. So Mercury has been out of retrograde for quite a bit now. And so it's what they call station direct, which means it has full capacity. Mercury is going to be flying through Gemini this month on its way into to Cancer. So, if you feel an increase in your life of social events, of things that are happening that pertain to networking or pertain to even just your day-to-day communications, that's also an indication of Mercury's hand at play in so many things that are going on throughout Gemini season, especially once it gets um, to Gemini from Taurus, where it currently is. Next, we have Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Typically, I only like to focus on Mercury retrogrades when I'm giving out my overviews. But I think it's important to, take some time and really focus on the other planets, like this outer planet, Saturn, because Saturn, for the longest time, for like the past 3 years up until March of this year, had been in its home sign of Saturn. And Saturn had been in its home sign of Aquarius. Saturn rules Aquarius. It also rules Capricorn in traditional astrology. In modern astrology, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So, a lot of the Saturn kind of movement this year has been a really big headline because Saturn spends about 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years in any sign at one time. So when it moves to a different sign, it makes a big impact. And currently it is in Pisces, and it has been since about March of this year. And so it's going to station retrograde mid-June. And that's important because Saturn in Pisces, and I did touch on this in an earlier video, but Saturn in Pisces is it's kind of, a juxtaposition because Saturn is known for structure, it's known for boundaries, it's known for kind of having more rigidity, more influence on, our discipline and being more on time and more focused and more honed in about things. And Pisces is anything but that. Pisces is a mutable water sign. It wants to be here, there, everywhere. Pisces doesn't know boundaries. Pisces wants to have a smorgasbord of things available to it. And it likes to also be in comfort. And sometimes, with cold, stern Saturn around, it's very difficult to be comfortable. And with Saturn being one of those planets, being the planet known as the taskmaster, it's not going to relent until you get what it is done that you need to do. So anytime a planet goes into retrograde, that means it stops where it is and then it backs up into, the path that it just came from. And what that does for us energetically is it causes us to really pause in those themes, those areas of our lives that have um, that Saturn has touched in terms of those themes. Like it makes us have to go back and kind of revisit and rethink and reflect on how we're doing, how we're progressing at those specific tasks or goals or themes. And with Saturn in Pisces, one of the biggest themes is really, if you are someone who has a specific faith or you consider yourself to be more or less spiritual, with Saturn being there, Saturn really does, kind of make you think about how are you doing in terms of holding to or holding fast to what it is that you believe in. Are there some areas that you can make more of an effort or try to stay mindful about how you're able, to show up in those instances? So with Saturn being retrograde, those are some of the things that definitely um, are things to pay attention to and make sure we spend some time reflecting on those areas in our lives and see how we can be able to add more structure, add more accountability, um, even just in connecting with people. Pisces is one of those signs that likes to be connected. So, how are you taking actionable steps? If you've set a date with a family member or with someone that you love or with a friend that you've been meaning to connect with for a while, or even your self care, self love practices that have kind of been fallen to the wayside because you've been giving so much of your time to any and everything else in life, which is easy to do. Saturn retrograde really makes you think back to, okay, what did I say or how did I want my life to be structured around those topics or those things that are important to me, that bring connection, that bring some sense of fulfillment in my life. And if I'm not hitting the mark on those, maybe it's a time for me to really revisit that and set things in place to make sure that I don't miss the mark on those anymore. And so moving on to the next thing, which is the new moon in Gemini, which is really awesome. The new moon in Gemini, anytime you have a new moon, it's really, really a time to set intention. And it's really a time to focus on intention around the themes of Gemini. So I already talked a little bit about Gemini when I mentioned Mercury moving into Gemini later this month in June. So it's the same kind of concept of setting intentions around the new moon that focus on themes of Gemini, like your communication, like your networking, like being social or making plans for things that you have. The sign of Mercury, excuse me, the planet of Mercury rules the sign of Gemini. And Mercury is one of those planets that is known for its organization ability and its ability to kind of keep tabs on and keep track of what's happening here, there. So, with the new moon in Gemini, it's important to think about setting intentions or setting a precedent in your life for how you want to be able to communicate more clearly, to show up more fully in your social interactions and engagements with people, to value those things. Gemini is definitely known as one of the most social signs in the zodiac sign. So, what are you doing to set intentions around how you show up in social settings and being more open, being more communicative, um, sending out those emails or taking time to write or reflect or journal or do things that are going to help you be able to be a better communicator, or even have more of an insight on how you want to show up by taking time to reflect and doing what you can to capitalize on the themes of the new moon, and just track throughout this Gemini new moon to when the Gemini full moon happens about 6 months from now, in roughly December. So throughout that time, as we build up throughout the month and throughout the year to a full moon in a specific sign, the themes around what that zodiac sign and the planet that rules that zodiac sign represent continue to build. And energetically, those are things that are very helpful to pay attention to, because they enable us to say, okay, this is where I am this is where I am in terms of my intention. This is how I'm progressing on it. Oh, I see, these sort of things are coming to fruition, or these sort of things are manifesting themselves in my life as a result of me either setting attention or just simply paying attention to what's happening around these themes or these set of plans that you have for yourself. So I've talked a lot so far, and I would love to know if there's anything about what I just covered that you have a question about, that you are interested in me diving in more to, or that you just want to share before I move on to part two of this presentation. And I'm going to take just a little sip so I can get my voice back. Feel free to drop it in the chat if you have anything. Let's see, I think I have this open. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next part of the presentation. Okay, it's still on this one. So this next part of the presentation moves us into Cancer season. So Cancer season happens on June the 21st, and it extends through July the 22nd. So on the next slide, I'll be talking about what's happening astrologically during that time of Cancer season. And Cancers, happy early birthday to y'all. Cancer is a water sign, it's a cardinal water sign. Cancer is known as the caregivers of the zodiac. They are very nurturing, they're very patient, they're very giving, they're also very knowledgeable, but they take action on creating emotional connections with others. Very, very powerful emotional connections. My dad is a Cancer, and my dad, is one of the people that I look to in my life to really feel, I think, understood by in ways that I don't always kind of think about, because I'm, a airhead, I'm an air sign. So I live in my head sometimes and I don't always connect with my emotions. But my dad, when I talk to him, he picks up on things about what I say or what I don't say that I wasn't even thinking about. But those are some of the characteristics that Cancer signs possess, and really help us to see about ourselves. So I'm very excited about Cancer season. So let's dive into what's happening this Cancer season. Oh, and before I do, I will be having another live, as I said, where I'll be going more in depth about what's happening sign by sign um, this Cancer season on June the 20th at 4 p.m. Wherever you're watching this right now, you'll be able to see it then. I should already have an event set up somewhere that you can go and either sign up, or you can set a notification or a reminder so that you can be able to join me live while I do the Get Ready for Cancer Season 2023. So now let's head into that. I might have to switch to my other slides. Yeah, I think I ran out of slides here. Okay, there it is. All right. So Cancer season begins on June the 21st at 10:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Cancer season is also the sign that lets us know it's the summer solstice. Why is that important? That's important. The summer solstice and any of the solstices are important because they mark when the sun is either at its lowest point or is at its peak. And in astrology, the sun is life. So the sun is everything. Light is life, and light is everything. And back when astrology was in its infancy in ancient Africa and ancient times, and people were using astrology more so for agricultural purposes, the sun and the moon were guides for when to plant crops, when seasons were changing. So when you can expect, cattle, or when you can expect certain things to be able to happen throughout the season. In modern times, though, we don't have to worry about those things as closely so much. I don't really grow a lot of things. I go to the grocery store and I buy what I need. So those are some of the things that we don't really pay as much attention to, but we should, because so much of what happens in our lives is governed by the light. We set our time, our day to it, our emotions and our mental states are impacted by the sun, so in the moon and all the things astrologically. So it's important to keep an eye on what's happening, to pay attention to what's happening with the moon as well as with the sun. So when the summer solstice comes, that's when the sun is at its highest peak that it will be all year. And from that point on, the sun is decreasing in light, at least in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite thing. But in the northern hemisphere, the sun is decreasing in light. So it's important for us to realize that so that we can, set our time and make some adjustments to it. Oh, I see some comments. So let me hop over to there. I see Sequoia or Koi from LinkedIn. She says, "Hey, love. Hey, darling. How are you?" She says, "I wish I grew things, but I don't." It's not my thing. Yes, growing things can be a challenge sometimes. And I wish I grew more things. I do have a little windowsill garden with some herbs, in my kitchen. And I've been able to keep those things alive. I also have a cat who's sitting right here and she wants me to give her greenies. And she's been with me for about a decade. She just turned 10 this past April. So she's a little Aries. She was born in early April. But one of the things that I do wish I had more time for and I did more with was growing things. I live in an apartment. Most of us throughout America live in some sort of urban setting, so we don't really have, the land or, a lot of the things that you need to really cultivate. But that's what Cancer season and what the summer solstice kind of reminds us of. Even though we may not be able to cultivate or harvest things in terms of the soil, we can cultivate relationships. We can cultivate self-care, self-nurturing, and we can use plants and fruit and healthy things in our lives, hydration, to really help us to take care of those things for ourselves. So it is absolutely important to be able to do those for ourselves. So that's why I love that Cancer season is so synonymous with this, is synonymous with the summer solstice. And I'll be giving more feedback about what you can do with the summer solstice at my next talk on June the 20th. So stay tuned and join me then. And I've gotten some more comments. Sequoia says, wow, she's an OG cat. Yes, she is an OG cat. My little girl is getting up there. And I'm just happy to still have her with me. She had some really bad health scares earlier this year. She even had to have surgery. It was really bad. I was a mess. I was in tears for some of it. But yes, I'm so glad she's better. She's back to her full normal self now. So she's doing really good. Okay, let me show some stuff I missed. Let me see, is this going to show up? There it goes. Absolutely. We can create other things if not tangible. Yes, thank you so much for sharing this comment, Sequoia. So, yes, even though you may not have a green thumb, and even though you may not have a place for you to have a garden where you can grow an abundance of things, I grew up in Selma, Alabama, and in Florida. So, I'm used to having a lot of land and a lot of things around me. My grandmother and my mom, they always kept some type of garden in the front yard or in the backyard. So that's something that I hope to have in the future when I get my own property. But for right now, what I try to do is cultivate, relationships. I try to cultivate good practices. I do try to keep my little herbs, fresh herbs in my kitchen windowsill going. So so those are some of the things that you can do as an alternative if you really can't, follow the moon and the sun to grow a lot of things. So thank you for sharing that, Sequoia. All right. So moving on to the next thing. Did I put that twice? Mercury enters Cancer. I think I did. No, Mercury enters Gemini. Mercury is moving so fast that I got confused. So Mercury will enter Cancer on June the 26th. So it's only going to stay in Gemini for a couple of weeks, which is apropos because Mercury is a fast planet. It's the planet that's the closest, of course, to our sun. It's a planet that is also known for communications and connections as well. And in Cancer, it's going to help us vocalize what it is that we need. It's going to help us to vocalize and communicate what our needs are, how we want to make connections or hopefully make bonds with other people that we know or want to get to know better. So those are some of the things that we can expect when Mercury enters Cancer on June the 26th. And the last thing, which is really exciting for me, or notable, I should say, for me, is that on June the 30th at about 5:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Neptune will go retrograde in Pisces. Neptune has been in Pisces for I don't even know how long now. It's been quite a while. Neptune is one of the slower planets in the solar system. It is the modern day ruler of Pisces. So it's at home in Pisces. And it's been there, I want to say, since 2018. It might have been longer than that. I don't remember. But it's been there for a while. It's getting to the latter degrees of the Pisces zodiac. But I think we have maybe 2 more years, 3 more years for Neptune to be in Pisces. And this is one of the reasons why, because planets go direct and then they go retrograde and then they go direct. And Neptune is usually retrograde, I think, for like 6 months or so, 5 or 6 months out of the year, every year. And again, when a planet goes retrograde, it pulls focus. And one of the things that Neptune is known for is our dreams, is our dreamscape. Um, and in Pisces, this transcendence through our dream life, this transcendence through um, kind of like how we escape, how we imagine things, how we fantasize about things. Being hopefully careful not to get carried away in those things are some of the things that Neptune is known for, the things that Neptune is known for. And in Pisces, we think about transformation, we think about transcendence, excuse me. Yeah, transformation too, but transcendence, how we transcend to different ideas, to different parts of ourselves, to things about who we are that we may not even be able to express, but feel connected to, or feel drawn to in some way. Those are some of the things about Neptune and Pisces that we can be more or less aware of. So I just wanted to, make you aware of that. And that's important for me because that's when I'll be in New Orleans at the Essence Music Festival. And I'm so excited to be there. And that transcendent, that, otherworldly kind of thing is what New Orleans is known for. So it's apropos that I will be there on the day that Neptune stations direct. And not only that, one of my dreams will be coming to fruition of, being at the Essence Festival. It's one of the things that I've wanted to do for a very long time. Some of the people who I have idolized for decades, like Lauryn Hill, like Missy Elliott, will be performing there. So I just expect to have an completely out of this world, outer body experience while I'm in New Orleans, enjoying myself. I'm excited about this. And I think Neptune retrograde and Pisces is really going to be something that is going to be a mood. It's going to be a vibe of the whole experience at Essence Festival. So hopefully nobody gets too carried away. Hopefully nobody does anything too bad with illicit substances. Be very mindful of that. And mindful of my spending, because Pisces is my second house. I'm an Aquarius rising. So those are some of the things that you just have to be, mindful about when it comes to anything related to Neptune, because things kind of tend to disappear and find warp, holes, and all kinds of things happen with Neptune. So it's a tricky planet, but it's an amazing one if you can enjoy it. So hopefully I'll get a chance to enjoy it. So yes, so we have another comment that I wanted to share. Give it a second. It says, that sounds amazing. I wanted to go to the Essence Festival too. I've never been. Yes. So this is why I wanted to bring up the Neptune retrograde in Pisces, because I want to help you have an otherworldly experience, an out-of-body experience, by living vicariously through me as I share more about my experience at Essence Festival. I do intend to go live as often as I can, but every single day at Essence Fest, and just talk to you about it, share with you about it. I'll be doing that on all the socials. As I said, when I first started this broadcast, I unfortunately haven't been able to find, other than the concert schedule, any of the day-to-day things that happen at Essence Festival, like the panels, the seminars, all the other amazing content and amazing things that they do there. But as soon as I do, I'll have a better sense of when I might be able to go live day to day, and just share with you about it and walk around the festival and talk, through, and, meet things, or hopefully meet, some of the celebrities there. But I think above all, just make great connections, have great fun. I'll be going with one of my besties, my BFF. She'll be joining me. Hi, if you're on here. But yes, I would love to share more of that with you. And I know a lot of people haven't been to Essence Festival before. This is actually my first time going, so I'm excited to share more of that and share that experience with you all as well. Um, so yes. So just to kind of do so now I'm going to move into the horoscopes by element. And I haven't really had much time to refresh the slides that I have. I was going to do a deeper dive by element on the slides. So just ignore what I have written on the bottom, because that is content that I had from a previous presentation. I'm going to shoot off the cuff and kind of talk about astrologically by element what's happening this month for each zodiac sign. So stay with me. Oh, okay. I see one more comment. Okay, let's get this up here before I go into it. Okay, Sequoia says, I feel like you will meet some of the celebs and network. I'm excited for you. I'm so excited too. Thank you so much, Sequoia. I received that. I received your good energy and your great vibes. So yes, I'm excited to be able to go to Essence Festival and enjoy it, and share some of that with you all. So thank you so much. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to have to update these slides because this verbiage I intended to change, but I have been doing everything. So I didn't have time to really sit down and do this, but I thought about it. So ignore what's at the bottom of this slide. This is for all of the fire signs. So give me just a minute to get my voice together and my thoughts. Okay. I may have to pull up my chart real fast so my brain can think. Okay. Just 1 minute so I don't hurt my head. All right. So, with the fire signs, currently we are in Gemini season. So, again, happy birthday to all the Geminis. If you're just joining me, I gave all my gems a hearty happy birthday. I'm wishing you all so well and so much love. I'm very close to Geminis. I'm an air sign myself, so all the love to you Geminis out there. I think Sequoia, you're a Gemini too, so happy birthday to you. And I'm starting to lose my voice. But yes, so with the fire signs, fire signs during Gemini season, which is an air sign, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking about the Thema Mundi, and the Thema Mundi is like how your birth chart is structured, and it gives hierarchically, or not even hierarchically, like more like kind of lays out the blueprint for which planet and its corresponding sign rulership, how it falls in the birth chart. So the way that your birth chart is laid out, and for those of you who don't know what a birth chart is a snapshot of the sky on at the moment of your birth, and it's like a slice of pie for each zodiac sign, and all of those make up, how you show up energetically. And so in my mind, I know, with Gemini as the first sign or rising sign during Gemini season, that rulership, also extends to the trine of the fifth and then the ninth house. So the fire signs are two signs up or down of that. So that puts you all in what I think they call cadent houses. And your cadent houses have to do with your third, sixth, and 10th houses. And so those are all houses that are related to your work. And they're related to, yes, your work and your communications. Your third house rules your communications. Your 10th house rules your career, and your sixth house rules your day-to-day life. So when we think about the sign of Gemini, and we think about the fact that Gemini is an air sign, and based on all the things that I just mentioned about the themes of air signs and the themes of kind of Mercury, and with Mercury also entering into Gemini on the 11th of June, one of the things that fire signs, or kind of the feel that I'm getting for fire signs on a horoscope basis, is that it'll be important for you all to pay attention to your work and to find ways to level up career wise through your communications, through your reputation. Like maybe you need to spend some time polishing off your LinkedIn profile, making sure any job, that you've recently done, has the proper update and kind of encapsulates your experience there, your qualifications. So it'll be really important for you to use your communications to be able to have more of a effective way of saying who you are, what you're here to do in the world, how you see yourself living out your life from a day-to-day basis, fire signs. So that's my Aries, my Sagittariuses, and my Leos. That's the vibe that I'm getting for that element, the fire sign element, for the month of June, or really more so for the rest of Gemini season. When we get into Cancer season, the vibe will shift. Things will be a little bit, more spot on, I think, for the fire signs, because the houses that energy will be ruling for you will be a little bit different. So check back in with me at Cancer season, and I'll give you the play-by-play for Cancer season more in depth during that time. And I have a comment here. Let's see. I'm bringing it up. My rising sign and moon sign is Leo. This is interesting. Yes, very true. So just so for all of the folks out there who are just beginning their journey on astrology, or maybe you haven't had as clear of an idea about what this is, or you might want a little refresher. Everybody has every zodiac sign in their chart. And I love saying that because sometimes when people poo-poo a certain zodiac sign, it's really funny when they have like a bunch of planets in that sign, or they have something that's really significant in that sign. So be nice. Every zodiac sign is amazing. Everybody has something to offer, and every single element and every zodiac sign is represented in your chart. So when we talk about some of the more, I think, significations that tend to be a lot stronger in your chart, anything related to your sun, your moon, because those are the luminaries. As I said in astrology, everything is light. The light is life. The light is the energy. The light is what we use to live. So the moon and the sun are very important. And then the rising sign is also important, because that's a line of demarcation of where the earth, or where the eastern horizon was, which is where the sun comes up at the moment of your birth. and that also falls into a zodiac sign. So when Sequoia mentions that her rising and her moon sign are in Leo, she's letting me know that in her birth chart, in addition to her sun being in Gemini, and thus making her a Gemini, she also has significations that are very strong in Leo. So a fire sign horoscope for her is very important because it helps her to understand, okay, even though I'm a Gemini, and yes, as a Gemini, these things that are happening in Gemini season are something that are important to me. I should also pay attention astrologically to what's happening in these signs for me as a fire element, because that also could have a significant influence on how the energy or some of the things that I face in my life, kind of how that shows up. So I'm glad you found value in that, Sequoia. Thank you so much for letting me know that that was interesting and helpful to you. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the air signs, and that's me. I'm an air sign. Air signs are the moment right now because it's Gemini season. So, air signs, give me just a second. All right. So my air signs, that's Libra, that's Aquarius, and of course, that's Gemini. Again, happy birthday to all my Geminis out there. With the element of air, that calls into Gemini season being what's on the horizon in my mind at the moment. So I'm thinking first house. The first house is the house of self. It's the house that we kind of present, the things that people kind of know us for, or some people say it's how society or the world kind of sees us. So that's the first house, and then also what comes into play with that energy, thinking about the trine of the air signs, is the fifth house. So if Gemini is the first house, the fifth house would likely be Libra. Excuse me, because we're starting over. So the fifth house is the house of pleasure and play, and also the house of children. So those are some of the things that I'm going to focus on for that element. And then it also comes into the ninth house. So the ninth house is known for the house of publishing, of travel, of spirituality, of divinity, of divination. So all these various things um, are what's coming to play during Gemini season, or on tap for June until we get into mid June when Cancer season starts. So, with that being said, as I said, these slides, I needed to update the bottom. So, ignore what I have written on here. I'm going to update these before I send them out. Listen to my voice. I am giving you the horoscope as I, go through this by thinking about those houses and the corresponding signs, because Gemini is essentially what I'm saying is the rising sign. So the first, the fifth, and the ninth houses. So those themes are the self, the body, the personality, um, the pleasure, the play, the fun things, and then travel, and really being cognizant of the things that we're putting out into the world, the publishing, how we show up, or how we connect with the divine, being in the ninth house. So air signs, with this being Gemini, with this being Gemini rules, I think for the top of June, or for the rest of June until we get into Cancer season, what's going to be important, for us to pay attention to, are those topics of, self, and how we're communicating who we are, how we're communicating what we want in life or what brings us pleasure, and also kind of thinking about or even thinking out loud about, you know, what we want to see in terms of the things we put out into the world, things that we publish, or how we communicate what we value or what we see um, as representing life to us. Those are some of the topics that I see being really important in terms of the air signs. And I'm trying to work into that the full moon in Sagittarius, which is coming up on the 3rd. Um, and air signs and fire signs, they kind of have similar rulership, triplicity rulership in terms of, the sun, Jupiter, and Saturn. Sometimes Mercury. Mercury can be either or. And with the Jupiter being in such a great placement, it's not in its domicile. It doesn't do bad. It doesn't do overly well in Taurus, but because it doesn't rule or have any type of rulership in Taurus, but it is a benefic planet. So with Saturn, excuse me, with Sagittarius being ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in a good place, is a benefic, and it's coming to a full moon at this time. I'm really, really thinking about like that adventure piece of things as it pertains to the theme of travel. And I know for me, that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to towards the end of June. And it is kind of like a full moon moment for me because it's something that I've been looking to do for a very long time, a little bit spur of the moment, which is apropos for um, a Sagittarius full moon because I did not plan on going to Essence Festival, but like this feeling just came over me. I'm like, I see who's on the lineup. I gotta be there. I want to be there. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I want to be there. So, just traveling to this place and seeing that, and I expect to have fun. I expect it to be a joyous occasion. And I intend to bring my full self to the moment. So just thinking about how that kind of plays into the themes of the first, the fifth, and the ninth house is really the vibe that I'm getting for the air signs as it pertains to the month of June and kind of like what we have on the horizon for this month. So taking time to really focus on and either just write down or even share out loud, think out loud with your girlfriends, get together and or your guy friends and figure out, talk about like, these are some of the things I would like to do, or these are some of the things that I think would be really fun. Or these are some of the things that I think would be really helpful to me to really sit down and or make a plan to go about doing them, or some of the things that I think would be helpful to the air signs going forward. And Sequoia says, great points. Thank you so much, Sequoia. Yes, I think those are the things that will be really, really helpful to kind of pay attention to. And astrologically, those are the vibes or the energy that I'm getting for the air signs for this horoscope. All right, now I'm moving on to my earth signs. Okay, give my slide a little bit of time to change because it's a lot of stuff on here. And I keep shaking my arm like this because my shoulder is really tense and really tight. And I've been on the computer all day. I hadn't had the best sleep last night. And also for me, because I don't know, but anyway, the moon is in Scorpio. And for those of you that know, the moon is It is fall in Scorpio. So anything related to the body, which is, coordinated with the moon, is just, it's something you got to pay attention to. So I think that's what I'm dealing with right now, the moon in Scorpio, as it pertains to my back. But anyway, going to the earth signs, and the earth element. So the earth signs come just ahead of the um, the air signs when it comes to the astrology. We start off with the fire signs, in terms of how the zodiac starts. Then we head to the earth signs. So with the earth signs, the houses that come to mind are the 12th, the 8th, and the 4th house. And so I'll start with the 4th house because the 12th house is a little tricky. But with the 4th house, that's the house of your home and your foundation. That is the house, of your family, your heritage, and your roots. Um, then we move to the 8th house. Excuse me. The 8th house is also a tricky house. The 8th house is a house that is known for, anything related to other people's property, the the money that we get from outside of ourselves, from other people. Also, debts that we may owe to other people. So our taxes, anything debt wise, anything related to, keeping a budget or keeping our finances in order. Um, Also, mental health is really one of the things that is ruled by, or has its place in our eighth house. So, those are some of the things that I'm picking up on as well for the earth signs. And then, the other house is the 12th house. So, I'm thinking about the the earth sign trine. So, that's the Capricorns, your Taurus, and your Virgo. And so, with the themes of the fourth, the eighth, and the 12th houses, and I think I'm doing that right. Let me just make sure. 4, 8, 12. Yes. Sometimes I have to double check myself. But yes, the fourth, the eighth, and the 12th houses, as it pertains to the earth signs. Um, Earth signs, I feel like, have a really strong, um, I think, tied to the material world, to really things that have more of an ability to last, especially when you think about the signs of Taurus and of Capricorn, like really going the distance, and even Virgo as well, like that quest for just the ultimate, perfecting something, just really being at the top of your game. Those are some of the things that kind of come to me from the earth signs. And when you think about, your home life, your foundations, as well as your money, and as well as, the 12th house. I think I forgot to describe the 12th house, which is also a 12th house thing. So, like, the 12th house is about our hidden self, our hidden life, the things that people don't know and will probably never know, and also things that we're still figuring out about ourselves. Those are 12th house things. The 12th house is also tied to our mental and our spiritual health and well-being. So those themes are very important for us to pay attention to when we talk or we think about the element of earth. So all the earth signs collectively. So as it pertains to the earth signs, um, and the fact that, this new moon, excuse me, this full moon is coming up in Sagittarius with its ruler currently, in Jupiter, excuse me, Taurus currently, Jupiter is currently in Taurus, it's really important for us to think about um, how we are using this ability to kind of stabilize and come to some sort of, I think, pinnacle about how it is that we work on our home or work on the things that help us to maintain our life or our livelihood, and really being cognizant of the effect that that may be having on our mental health or our mental awareness, or just overall being able to um, show up for ourselves, show up for our family members, um, making sure that we have budgets and things that we don't have weighing our mind down, that we can kind of just get out and maybe look at a glance instead of kind of thinking through, oh yeah, I have to do this. Oh yeah, I have to take the kids to that. Oh yeah, I have to make sure I pay that bill. Oh yeah, mom or dad needs, a ride to the doctor's office, and kind of like the toll that can have on us, that responsibility is very important to be cognizant of, because when we think about the 12th house themes and the 8th house themes, those are things that are very heavy topics that involve mental health, that involve our finances, or that involve things that we owe to other people that we really don't have a lot of control over ourselves. But if we can keep almost like a dashboard, or keep some type of ledger, to help us make sure that we are being consistent, which is a far cry, I think, for earth signs, because they typically have it together. But, it's easy sometimes to get set in our ways and not realize that our circumstances have changed, or that there is a change on the horizon, and the mental resistance to that, to put it off, to say, I don't want to deal with that. That's not really something that I want as a problem, right? That I want to deal with, or that somebody else's problem to deal with. And then lo and behold, it ends up on your plate. So earth signs, just be very cognizant of how you're taking care of your home and your hearth. Be very cognizant of the impact and the effect that that has on your mental state, your mental well-being, how it is that you're able, to show up and be able to contribute, but not feel overwhelmed or overburdened, and not feel like you have an outlet for that. So those are some of the things that I feel like are very important for the earth signs for this June. Okay. So finally, to our water signs. Very excited about the water signs. Let me get a sip of water. Get a sip of tea myself. So now we are on to our wonderful water signs. I love water signs. And for the water signs, you all will be covering the 2nd, 6th, and 11th house themes. And I'm going to talk through what those are. So water signs, that's the Cancer, the Scorpio, the Pisces. Again, ignore what I have written at the bottom of the slide, because I intended to change that before I had this presentation, and I wasn't able to give myself the mental space to be able to do that, having just covered Taurus, and having, just have those specific houses as the houses myself that that impact me. So I'm giving the water signs a little bit of the same treatment that I've given all other elements thus far. So when I think about the fact that Gemini, if you can imagine with me, Gemini is, since it's Gemini season, that's the house that I'm considering being the first house. And this is how I'm coming up with live and direct, straight from the dome, the horoscope for the water sign elements. So if we have the air sign of Gemini as the sign that's the rising sign on the cusp, that means that the water signs are just behind that. So the water signs are representing the themes of the second, the sixth, and the 10th houses. And so the second, the sixth, and the 10th house. So I'll start with the second house. The second house is themes of our values and our valuables. So all of our personal belongings, the things that we can pick up and carry with us. So nothing like the house or anything that's attached to the ground. Those are all fourth house themes. But the second house things, so our personal property, the second house is also associated with our money bag. So how we're able to cover the expenses for our day-to-day life, take care of ourselves, have whatever our well-being is. Not necessarily our job, but it has kind of like a work thing, because in modern times that's how we get our money. We go to work, or we have a business, or something like that. Typically people don't have inheritance, a lot of inheritances, but that can also be how you take care of yourself. So that's second house things. Then moving to the sixth house. The sixth house is a house that pertains to our day-to-day life. It pertains to kind of like what you're obligated to do, how you're obligated to show up, things that you have to do, like you have to wash the dishes, you have to take out the trash, you have to make sure the cat litter gets changed, you have to make sure, the dog goes for a walk, or, the kids' lunches are packed, or just things that you do to keep your life in order on a day-to-day basis. Or when you go to work, making sure you show up for the meeting, send those meeting invites out, making sure that you're prepared for whatever report or things that you have to do, things that you have to do and you have to show up to, but you don't necessarily feel like you can just, hand off to somebody else. These are things that you're obligated to do. So those are all the sixth house things. Very domestic in some sense, but that's a part of our lives that we have to pay attention to. And then the 10th house. The 10th house is a very public house, because the 10th house is the house that pertains to our public reputation, our career, our profession, how people know, or how we're known to the world. It's oftentimes what we've spent our life kind of working towards, our legacy. So the 10th house oftentimes is associated with our career, with our profession. So these are all kind of work, career, work life things. And when you think about the water signs are all the signs that have some deep emotional or psychological ability that's just amazing, out of this world, otherworldly. And it kind of draws you in. It's also a little bit cerebral when you think about Cancer sign, like the depth of being able to um, understand something and feel it in your innermost parts, as opposed to spending so much time thinking about it. It's not a lot of things that you need to think about. It's something that you can intuit, something that kind of just comes to you. And you don't have to spend a lot of time figuring it out. It's just something that period. You don't have to explain how you know it, you just do. And when you think about second house values, second, sixth, and 10th house values, and kind of like that theme of career, and that theme of those connections and kind of like the emotional part of everything when it comes to um and the psychological part of everything when it comes to water signs. That's something that I think is very important to pay attention to for this June. It's like, how can you almost take some time to really intuit? I'm trying to avoid saying think because it's not a thinking thing, it's a feeling thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's almost like a calling. It's like, okay, what's my calling in life? What is it that I feel I'm drawn to do, or that I feel I'm drawn to leave as a mark on the world? And I feel passionate about. And I feel like some part of me is missing if I don't take time every day and devote it to that thing. It could be a bunch of different things. When I think about this full moon coming up in Sagittarius, and that adventure and that kind of like wisdom and seeking and that connection to spirituality that Sagittarius has, that's also, I think, something that's really important for the water signs. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, it's really important for you to be able to kind of like intuit through where you are currently in your profession, or the things that you value, or the things that you feel are important to you. And you don't have to explain it to anybody. If you feel it for yourself, that's great enough. But really taking the time to say, what's a driving motivator for me? What's something that, you know, if it were a blizzard outside and I still had to show up and do this thing, that I would risk life and limb to do. Like that could be a parent, that could be being, the CEO of, fill in the blank company. Whatever it is, it's what you're drawn to, and really giving yourself fully to that. Sagittarius kind of has this almost like nothing can stop me spirit to it. And I think that's kind of the influence that this full moon has on the water signs. And, this time of June is really important for the water signs to really pay attention to, and think about, what's that thing that I want to be known for? What do I want to leave as my legacy? What can I do, or, eat, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that would still fill me up and make me happy. And I don't feel like I can ever get tired of it. Really taking time to define those things for yourself is where the water signs will, I think, be able to get the most out of, or see the most in terms of what they've been able to do or have come to fruition or manifest for this full moon and Sagittarius. So those are the things that I um, really feel will be best for the water signs. So I think I've covered everybody. I've covered the air signs, the fire signs, the water signs, and the earth signs. I wish I could do a recap, remember everything that I said, but that came from a place that was on the spot. So I do intend to do a email or some type of newsletter or some type of post after this. So stay tuned for that. If you aren't on my email newsletter, if you signed up for this event, now you are. But if you haven't, then please take some time and go to my bio link. Click on it down at the bottom. There should be somewhere for you to put your email address so you can get the digested horoscope for June. All right. Now, I'm just going to do a brief recap of kind of everything that I covered astrologically. If you want to, now's a good time to take a screenshot of this, because this is kind of like a blow by blow astrologically of the main major things happening astrologically throughout the month of June. So this week, We will have on June the 3rd, the full moon in Sagittarius. Enjoy it. Abundance, big energy kind of things are what I feel for this full moon in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is living the life in Taurus right now. Then on June the 11th, Mercury will enter Cancer. Congratulations, Gemini. Excuse me, Mercury will enter Gemini. Congratulations, Gemini. Your home planet ruler will be home, and it's going to be fast and furious. Geminis are known for being the social butterflies. So it's going to be a great time for all things Gemini. So enjoy it, Geminis. It's going to happen quickly because, as you can see a little bit further down, Mercury is going to be entering Cancer on June the 26th. So Mercury is going to do a quick flyby, like, hey, hi and bye in Gemini, and kind of be out. But Geminis, you should be used to that because y'all are able to connect with a bunch of different people and get a lot of things done really fast. So that'll be perfect. And then on June the 7th, June the 17th, Saturn will go retrograde in Pisces. It's going to pull focus then because Saturn, known as the sign of boundaries, as the sign of more rigidity, and Pisces, which is very fluid, very flowing. It can also be like a container, like having that sustainability for whatever it is that you want to do to level up in your life, but reflecting on that. That's what a retrograde does. Then on June the 18th, we will have a new moon in Gemini. Yay! Gemini again. So with this new moon in Gemini, all the things Gemini will be important to set intentions for, so that 6 months from now, you can look back and say, look, I was able to do these things, like be intentional about my communications, be intentional about my networking, be intentional about making sure that I am showing and saying the things that I mean to show and say, and standing behind those things and taking the time to explore and research. Those are things that Gemini is known for. Then on the 21st, yay, Cancer season begins, and it will mark the summer solstice, which is when the sun is at its highest peak. Also a time of full manifestation as well. And then from that point on, the sun will be decreasing in light until we get to the winter solstice, when the cycle happens again. And I gave a whole spiel about how following the light is important and had been important for cultures and humanity since the dawn of time, but really something that had been marked by astrology. Astrology was originally developed to help us know when to take advantage of planting seasons and harvesting seasons and all those things. But now we do that in our lives by setting intention in the modern world. I already talked about Mercury in Cancer, but Mercury in Cancer is really being vocal about the emotional connections or the bonds that we want to take, and how we nurture ourselves. And then on June the 30th, Neptune will go retrograde in Pisces. Neptune is the co-ruler of Pisces, and Neptune can be a little bit of a tricky planet, but it's a dreamer, it's an imaginer, it's a transcender. It's something that takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. So Neptune retrograde in Pisces, when I get ready to go to the Essence Music Festival, is actually something that I'm looking forward to, because I hope it just makes the whole experience next level for me, but in a way that I have boundaries, because Neptune can kind of take you out there and leave you out there. So I'll be careful, to watch that. All right, so let's tap into some comments. And Sequoia says, Thank you for this. Thank you for joining me, Sequoia. I'm so happy that you were able to join for this live and you got some good stuff to take away. The recording for this should be available wherever you're watching it, like soon as it ends. So if there's something that I said that you want to go back to and listen to again, please do. And again, if you haven't already, anybody out there, if you haven't already signed up for my newsletter or followed me on any of the platforms, please do so now, and I will give a more thorough breakdown of what I said off the cuff during this presentation. All right. And once again, these are kind of the things that I have on the horizon. There'll be more things probably as the end of the month approaches and I go to Essence Fest and I'm able to have a better understanding of what the day to day agenda will be. But I'm so excited to share that with you all. But the next thing that I have coming up is get ready for Cancer season 2023. Your horoscope, I will be going through each zodiac sign. So not the way that I did today, where I kind of did the elements, but really going sign by sign to kind of give you more detail about your Cancer season. So join me again on June the 20th at 4 for that. And again, I'll be going live every day at Essence Music Festival. You can live vicariously through me if you've always wanted to go and never have. This will be my first time going, so everything will be new for me too. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you all. I'm excited about that. So join me or check back in with me again as that event gets closer. And you can watch all the live streams through my profile at Cosmusic app on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, also Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. I don't know what else, but it's a whole bunch of stuff. Either way, I have an account, and that's the account at Cosmusic app. And if you've enjoyed this presentation and you love the concept of Cosmusic, I happen to have a crowdfunding campaign going right now. And I would love it if you could go on there, check out the rewards I have. I have rewards at every single level. I have a show some love reward. I have a cosmic dap reward. I have rewards if you want to get an astrology reading with me and book something. I have those rewards as well. So I'm able to do it all, and you can find out more about that there, and you can help me build and launch Cosmusic app. Again, the Cosmusic app is an app that will create a personal theme song based on your astrology. I'm so excited about it. It's a passion for me. But like with anything, you need access to capital. You need a little help sometimes getting your vision and your dream to come to life. So I've included the bit.ly link. You can go to bit.ly/fund Cosmusic, or you can take a picture of this screen and that'll take you right to my iFund Women campaign. I've been blessed enough to be able to raise almost $2,000, $1,717 at the moment. But I would love it if you could find it in your heart to support Cosmusic and help us get to the next level in launching the app. So thank you so much for that in advance. And be sure to follow, like, and subscribe at Cosmusic app wherever you like to get your content at. And again, thank you so much for joining me. I know this event ran a little long. I was not intended for it to be so long, but I appreciate those of you who stayed without me. Thank you so much, Sequoia, for joining me today. She says, yay. Again, happy birthday to all the Geminis out there. And happy early birthday to all the Cancers out there it will be Cancer season on June the 21st. So I'm excited for all the amazing things that are going to be coming in the future. Again, thank you so much for joining me. And I meant to actually I should have put a banner up there. Oh my gosh, I'm a little behind. Um, let's see. Is this what I wanted to do? No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to change it first. I don't know what I have on here. Okay. I'm trying to put the link from my crowdfunding campaign up as a ticker. Okay. Now I got it. Let me go back a slide. Again, I don't know why it's not ticking. The ticker isn't ticking. But okay, there it goes. Sorry, that's kind of what I was trying to get it to do. But yes, feel free to support Cosmusic on our crowdfunding campaign. Again, we have amazing rewards for contributing to our crowdfunding campaign, which includes exclusive offers and amazing swag that we have with Cosmusic branding. So go and check it out. The link is scrolling across the bottom. And also, I have a QR code there if you would like to use that. I have swag. I have, you can set up an astrology reading with me if you haven't had your birth chart read or you want to get your birth chart read again. Please feel free to join me there. And thank you to all who've already given to my crowdfunding campaign. I have raised almost 2 grand of the 50,000 I'm aiming to raise. So thank you again to everyone who's already given. I appreciate you and I'm so grateful. And thank you again for joining me for this live. So with that being said, if nobody else has anything, we'll go and check the comments one more time. Let me see, and let me get some tea to soothe my throat. But again, I'll be sharing more with you all once we get to Cancer season. And I am excited to share what I get to see and do at the Essence Music Festival. So thank you again for joining me. And until next time, I'll see ya. I see a question. Okay. So this is a question from the Noble Striker. And the Noble Striker says, what are some good dating signs for Aquarius people? Great question. Okay. So the answer is there is no one and no sign that is off limits, because when you're willing to make a commitment to someone, whatever that person has in their chart or whatever they're having in their chart or their zodiac sign is, you all can meet each other in the middle. You all can make it work. So that is the disclaimer. But with that being said, it's kind of hard to give like a hard line answer because astrology is so personal and so much about who you are. It's not even something that is even encapsulated in one sign. There's so many things that make us up, and all of us have every sign in our birth chart. And there are key things to look for in your birth chart that I think are even better predictors of how you will bode with a specific sign. But when it comes to Aquarius, Aquarius is an air sign that's the water bearer, that's known for its humanitarianism, that's known for its innovative thinking, that's known for its connecting. And I think when it comes to Aquarius, other zodiac signs that kind of have an affinity for that are signs that are more compatible, but signs that kind of even go and have values outside of that can also be attractive or attracting to Aquarius. So I think, when you think about compatibility, there are some signs that come to mind, like anything related to the fire signs, I think, are really compatible because when you think about air and fire, those are they just build each other up, and it's not any one specific fire sign. So when you think about Leo, Leo is the opposite of, Aquarius, but then you also have the sign of Sagittarius, which is a sign that is a sextile to the Aquarius sign. And sextile just simply means a degree of compatibility that's ruled by Venus. And so there's a lot of compatibility in terms of Sagittarius and Aquarius, but there can also be some things that are not good with that because, they can both kind of live in their own worlds and never really quite connect. And, the distance that both of them can put in between each other cannot be a good thing. But then you also have like Aries. And Aries is also a sign that's a sextile sign to Aquarius. So, those are all signs that I think have a very strong compatibility with the air sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius kind of needs that and likes that because there's excitement, and Aquarius likes new things. They like to see and experience new things and the innovative kind of part of it and kind of what's going to happen. Like that's really exciting for Aquarius. But on the flip side of that, when you think about the fascination that an air sign could have with a water sign or with an earth sign, those are capabilities that Aquarius and that air signs in general just typically aren't very well versed in. That ability to intuit, that ability to have this focus on material aspects and on stability and on, how things are able to grow. Aquarius kind of doesn't have that typically as a strong suit. And I say that as a disclaimer because, again, so much of astrology is about your chart as a whole and the planets and how they are in aspect with one another, and then how that energy overlays with the other person. We are whole people. Like we have, beginning, middle, and end. And those compatibilities are something that it takes more of a finer, I think, tooth comb to kind of go through and digest when it comes to two, very different people. But just off of the cuff, like anything fire sign in terms of Aquarius is very compatible. Any other air signs in terms of Aquarius is also very compatible. But I think what could be fun and what could bring out things about Aquarius or what they may be fascinated by are the water signs and the earth signs because they just have different aspects that Aquarius sometimes innately does not have on its own as a sign. And that can be very fascinating to Aquarius and something that can be very attractive. And sometimes the opposites do attract. So I hope I answered that question well enough for you, the Noble Striker. And does anybody else have any questions? I'm happy to stay on for a little bit longer and answer some questions if anybody has them. So, but let me know, the Noble Striker on Twitch, if that was good for you. So, anything else? I'll stay on for just a little bit. Oh man. Get the last little bit of my tea. All right. The Noble Striker says, very informative. Thank you. I'm glad I was able to add to that. Okay, let me see. Having a little issue with this. Okay. I don't know. I think my internet is like a little slow. But I'm so grateful for what, Striker. You know why? Because this is the first live that I've done on Twitch. I've never had a Twitch account until about 10 a.m. yesterday. So I was worried that my Twitch account wouldn't work on StreamYard. So I was like, I don't know. Let me just try it and see it out. But I do intend to do more on Twitch. So I'm glad you found me, and I'm glad this was helpful to you. And thank you to everybody else who was able to join. Shout out to Sequoia. Shout out to the Noble Striker. Thank you both for joining and chatting with me in the comment section. And again, I will be sending out information through my newsletter, through my email. So if you haven't already signed up for it, please do. Otherwise, follow me on all of the social media platforms at Cosmusic. The handle is on the screen, and I look forward to joining you all again soon. Until next time, have a great one. Thanks. Okay. I think it just takes